Submitting a manual tax return in New Zealand can seem daunting, but with some guidance, the process becomes straightforward. The first step is to ensure you have all necessary documentation ready. Collect your income statements, any deductions, receipts, and proof of expenses. If you're employed, your employer provides a summary of your earnings through an IRD, Inland Revenue Department, form, which is crucial for your tax return. Self-employed individuals need to gather records of their income and expenses meticulously, keeping track of every transaction throughout the year. Next, you'll want to have your IRD number handy. This unique number is essential as it identifies you in the tax system. If you're not sure about your IRD number, you can find it on previous correspondence from the Inland Revenue or log into your online account if you have one. Once your documents are organized, it's time to obtain the correct tax return form. In New Zealand, the form you'll need is called the IR3. This form is used by individual taxpayers. You can download it from the Inland Revenue's website or request it directly if you prefer a physical copy. Ensure that you select the right tax year for which you are filing. With the IR3 form in hand, it's important to read the accompanying guidance notes carefully. These notes provide vital information on how to fill in the form accurately. Each section of the IR3 relates to specific categories of income and deductions. Complete your personal details at the top, including your name, address, and IRD number. Then work through the income section. Report all income earned during the tax year, including salary, wages, any rental income, or income from investments. Be thorough and accurate to avoid any issues later on. After filling out the income section, proceed to the part where you list your deductions. Deductions can significantly reduce your taxable income, so include costs associated with earning your income, such as business expenses if you're self-employed, or work-related expenses as an employee. Make sure to attach receipts or supporting documentation to validate any claims. Once you have completed the form, it's essential to double-check all entries for accuracy. Mistakes can lead to delayed processing or even audits, so take your time on this step. If everything looks correct, sign and date the declaration at the end of the form. This confirms that all information provided is accurate and true to the best of your knowledge. Now that your tax return form is complete, it's time to submit it to the Inland Revenue. You can send your manual tax return via post. Make sure to mail it to the correct address specified for the IR3 form submission. Keep in mind that the deadline for submitting your tax return is usually July 7th for individuals who are not using a tax agent, so plan ahead to avoid late fees. Alternatively, if you prefer not to deal with postal services, you can drop your completed form off at your local IRD office. This option can often be more convenient and ensures you receive a confirmation of submission. After submission, the waiting game begins. Typically, the Inland Revenue processes tax returns within a few weeks, but during peak times, it may take longer. You can check your tax return status online, which provides reassurance about whether your return has been processed and if a refund is due. If you owe tax, you'll receive a notice detailing the amount and the due date for payment. Conversely, if you are to receive a refund, the funds will be deposited directly into your bank account. Make sure your bank details are correct on the form to avoid any delays in receiving your money. In case of any discrepancies, it's important to keep your contact information updated with the Inland Revenue. If they have questions about your return, they'll reach out to the contact details you provided on the form. If you find yourself unsure or if it's your first time filing, you might consider seeking help from a tax advisor or an accountant to ensure the process goes smoothly. By following these guidelines and taking the time to ensure accuracy, submitting a manual tax return in New Zealand can be a seamless process. Remember to keep copies of everything you submit, as this can be helpful for future reference or in case of inquiries from the tax department. With organization and diligence, navigating tax season will become less stressful and more manageable.